video podcast?
Yeah, we do video. You look great, by the way.
All right, is the background nice? It's fine.
Background's great, and that's it. And we're off to the races. Welcome to episode 22 of the Mostly Sorry podcast. I am your host, Joel Jimenez, aka the Platinum Chihuahua. Chihuahua. I'm here with an old pal of mine, and it's we haven't really talked, and it's been a few years, kind of. But the internet keeps people together. But anyway, his name is Rick Wood. Rick, what's up? How's it going?
It's my vitals are good.
It's really all that you have in this life, when all this shit hits the fan.
Yeah. People are like, how's it today? And it's like, what do you mean, how's it today? I live in the same world as you. Why are we doing this? Good morning. Good. Okay.
Well, that's I mean, I think they're trying to stay positive.
Well, you just want to maintain norms and just kind of like, we're gonna have to be normal people after all this, right? And you're like, sure. Yeah.
I feel like you've been ready for this since I met you. I mean, you had the cast iron skillet. You had
I think I fancied myself as ready for this kind of thing. I'm not enjoying it at all.
Oh, no. Nobody said it'd be fun. You just said you'd be
emotionally prepared. I haven't said I told you so once this whole year, which I think is
that's an accomplishment.
Commendable.
Yeah, it really is. Because I feel like that you would have had just a banner with a string to pull that said "I told you so."
Yeah, if I had a little castle, that's what I'd run up the turret there. Yeah. Little "I told you so" banner.
I'm also this is not to butt in and ruin the flow of the conversation, but I feel like David Deary, our producer, shout out to David Deary, is going to complain that we're both not centered. I don't know if it matters. I don't really get it.
Oh, he likes it centered. Look, now I can center me.
There you. Wow, I'm glad I said something.
Some high tech. Guys, now you lost the cool ram's head.
The ram's head is very cool.
I was going rule of thirds, like, let's put me behind the.
Hey, look, I like it. These producers, they're all about these weird details that I don't give a shit about most of the time. Deary's you're an audiophile also, but it's like. Yeah. Sometimes he gets real intense about the quality, and I'm like, I was listening to punk tapes that had been recorded on a fucking tape that had already been used 800 times. To me, I don't care that much.
It's difficult now because all the guests are responsible for so much, and most people in the comedy community are not technically savvy.
Yeah, that's also true. Also, now
but then everyone else has so many people have a podcast that there's enough people that should be.
Yeah, the people that you wouldn't think would be are, and then the people that you would think don't fucking know anything. I think The View is good because I think hold on, let me make sure. This is, okay, yeah, we're good. Jesus Christ. Am I fucking, anyway.
You're on brand, that's for sure.
I mean, that's what's funny. That's what this whole show has been sort of like a mental health journey of mine, trying to keep my thoughts at bay.
Yeah, every podcast is helmed by a guy who can't afford therapy.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. And also just like too mentally ill to apply for the free stuff, just self-sabotage at every corner.
Yeah, that's weird when you're all messed up. Like they make it so much paperwork. Like just to file for any kind of like aid or benefit I've ever needed in my life. I'm like, oh, I think I'd rather just die.
Dude, I
can't read all I came here because I got having like some kind of anxiety breakdown, and you're like, read this. I'm like,
dude, I went to the
read
hospital.
Anything right now. I would have figured this out with a self-help book.
I went to the hospital once, like with a severe panic attack, and like I'm losing my fucking mind. I think I knew I wasn't dying, but it felt like that. And the nurse, this male nurse, came in, and I know he was just trying to keep my mind off of shit. But he starts asking me what I do, blah, blah, blah. And I tell him I'm a comedian. He sort of he's going like, oh, like George Lopez. And he starts telling the other nurses,
man.
he's like, tell me a joke. I'm in the middle of a fucking, I thought my mind was breaking. And I'm almost like, this is so unprofessional. Like, dude, I feel like I'm dying. And then he's like telling the other nurses, like, oh yeah, it's George Lopez, and like fucking with me. I know he's trying to distract me, but
Wait, was the nurse Mexican or Hispanic or Latinx?
He might have been, like Mexican or Filipino, possibly. But
that's fine then. I feel like if it was a white guy, it's kind of a problem. It's like
I snap out of the panic.
Got a Mexican kid in here. He's a comedian. You know who he's like.
He's like the jalapeno puppet that one guy has.
He's not fat enough to be fluffy. He's George Lopez. At least they didn't call you Mencia, I guess.
That's true. You know what I was thinking? I can't honestly remember. He might have said Mencia.
Oh, maybe.
That would have been funny because in the midst of a panic attack,
It would
I
depend
want
on
to
the
tell him
year.
about the joke theft. I want to be like, no,
Yeah.
you don't understand.
I write my own material.
Yeah, he stole a bunch of my chest. They're like
He stole
sticking
my
shit.
jokes. That's why I'm freaking out.
Yeah, it was so crazy. But another thing David Deary's going to get on to me about, we do this like mental
Man, David
health,
Deary's the star of this podcast. You said his name like
well, here's what
50
happened.
times.
The last show I didn't mention it till the end, and I think there was a point of contention. I'm not sure what that sentence means, but he was
welcome to the Mostly Sorry podcast, produced by David Deary,
that's how I should
hosted by
start.
Joel Mills.
Yeah. But we do a mental health check-in where he asks me how I'm doing mentally.
That's good. He's a
and,
good guy. That's why
yeah.
he deserves to be mentioned.
I did
I
ask.
don't know David well, but he's one of the people when I see him at usually the Comedy Store, somewhere where I'm not like totally in my element. I'm like, oh, that guy's here. That's cool.
Yeah.
You know.
He said good mustache when I first brought him up. I think he'd like that.
Yeah, he's got a great mustache. Him and Palumbo.
Yeah.
Also both look similar. Great mustaches. They could like be like
I
brothers.
feel like if
or
I
cousins.
could grow a mustache, I could probably be in that group because me and David kind of dress the same.
Yeah. Well, you got, the mustache, like it's like the final lap of like puberty, I guess. When you're almost 40, you're finally, for some people. I couldn't grow a mustache forever, and now I kind of can. So
What happened? Did you just stick
Divorce.
with it? Oh. Yes.
no, it was actually that just heartache. Just every day with a broken heart is a new hair on your lip.
I've been there, man. For me. It was when my thing happened. It was another piece of another 6 on the pack, if you want to call it.
Yeah, you just keep getting ripped.
I was getting ripped at the time. Now it's all out the window because I have
It's
food
gone,
issues.
huh?
and
Oh, you
stuff
were like
that.
shredded, huh?
For a little bit. I also
You were having a real fun run, like post breakup. Like you really like you made the most of it.
I tried. Whatever. It was
Yeah,
probably
it
unhealthy.
Sounds like you did.
People started worrying about
nothing's healthy. The only thing that makes sense in this horrible world anymore is hedonism.
I honestly, what does hedonism mean? Because I
Just-
hear the term a lot.
I think just like just wanton pleasure seeking, right?
that's true.
Like Roman stuff. That's what I think of. Like just group sex in a bathhouse, lots of grapes.
See, that stuff sounds fun in theory, but I know that the morning after I'll just end up in the hospital again with the nurse telling me I'm.
Oh yeah, you
transphobic.
got all that shame and guilt and stuff.
Yeah, that's a weird one. But yeah, so I guess we're in the right topic, but like, yeah, the mental health check-in. I've been pretty good. I did like a 50-day meditation thing that really helped, and then I stopped. And
Wow,
then now
50 days. It feels like that would become a habit by then. You stopped.
I miss one day and then I go, I'll do it tomorrow, and then I don't, and that's how that
Yeah.
happened. But
Healthy things are hard to make. Like you only have to do heroin once and you're addicted for the rest of your life.
Oh my
you have
God,
to
you're
meditate
so
for
right.
like 75 years. And then on your deathbed, you go, I think I might be addicted.
That's I love
I
that.
might do it tomorrow if I live through tonight.
And bad things, it's like you fucking, even with food, like you taste something the first time that's delicious, and then now you're a fan for life.
Yeah, I'm
now
always
you
going to want a
dream about
cookie.
it. Exactly.
Anytime I see a picture of a cookie, I'm like, that's how I know how like people who like, are in AA or anything.
Yeah.
That's how I
yeah.
try to sympathize. I'm like, I got to go to meetings. I'm like, really? You haven't had a drink in like 16 years? You still got to go to meetings? But if I hadn't had a cookie in 16 years, I would have to go to some strong meetings to stay out of a cookie bar.
That sugar pool is
Yeah.
fucking tough, man. Yeah. But so what about you? I mean, I guess, yeah, the divorce thing and then pandemic and all this, do you have any sort of like ritualistic things every day that have kind of kept your thoughts at bay, keeping you sort of like as mentally healthy as you can be,
No, I've just been letting myself tumble down the rabbit hole. It's not
you would
good.
say that.
I know. I wish I was doing so.
Have you ever had any sort of like,
Um,
did you ever meditate? I mean, I know you're not, because I
No,
know
I've been-
two different Ricks. I know completely sort of like, and this is only because I'm just saying I love you. I know completely angry, like sort of like Rick, and then also sort of like deep thinking, like the human experience sort of Rick. And I wonder if those.
Hey, I don't think you have to apologize for a very on the nose,
Okay, well, I didn't because I don't want to call somebody
assessment of
angry.
my duality, which
Yeah.
is no, I'm like constantly frustrated, and I guess I am angry.
You're
I
like
always feel
somebody.
like-
You remind me of somebody who's trying to quit cigarettes like the first week, but that's just how you are.
yeah, and I've never had one, and I'm just like, God, maybe I should just start smoking. And I'm like, God, he got so cool.
No.
He was so relaxed after that.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't. It oscillates, between anger and I always think I'm going to go to sleep and wake up in a world better than the one I went to sleep in, and that's insane. And then so I just am constantly like, God damn it.
That's a little bit of
then I
hope,
decide it builds up, and I'm like, I got to take it upon myself to fix everything. And then I tweet 6 things, and then I eat a bunch of shit, and I drink, and I smoke weed, and I pass out.
Man.
And then I repeat this, like, and some days I get on top of the ball.
So you're not just going for walks or
No, I haven't been doing hardly any. In the summer, I was doing more of that and like traveling some, like nature vacations and shit.
Oh yeah, that looked really fun, man. That was cool. I've never
that
been to
was
some of
nice.
those places,
Yeah, neither did I. And I was like, you know what, now's the time to do it. The mobility and, somewhat the time.
Yeah.
Free from obligations, a traveling partner and stuff. Yeah, I don't know what kinds of things. Like I've been trying to read more again, but I don't think I'm reading the right things ever. I'm just like reading stuff where I'm like, oh, well, this guy was crazy that wrote this. So you're just going to become crazier from.
I don't know.
I just want a normal life so bad now.
Oh,
like the
my
thing I
God.
swore I didn't want. Like I would kick comedy to the middle of the sea with steel-toed boots to just be an accountant with a 5-bedroom house, or just like some lame dude with a hot wife and a dumb car and a dog, and just be not even hot, just like kind of, you're like, as she used to be a looker in high school. That's why I get snagged her.
Could do.
Throw my guitar in the river. Who gives a shit? Man?
Yeah, but then that ends up because this is like because you already know what the other side is like. I think that seems like torture. It's like I think
I'm
what
sure
you're
I'd hate
saying
if I was doing that. I'd be like, man, I wish I was 37 years old in a tiny Hollywood apartment with way too many instruments, making records that only you were gonna listen to.
Yeah,
Like
I think what you mean is like maybe like an endless sunshine of the spotless mind sort of thing where you just erase everything and you become this.
I've been thinking about that movie a lot the last year or two because I'm just like, I've met some people where I was like, man, I'd love to erase you, and then you're like, well, would I?
Yeah.
And then it becomes that whole thing. At first you're like, hell yeah, I would. You should have to wait a year to get a procedure like that.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, do you feel like you learned something instead of wanting to take the easy way out?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and you probably would.
Jerks.
Yeah, I mean, it's like those people who jump off the Golden Gate, like
or
the ones that
selling
survived. They said that as soon as they jumped, they like regretted it.
God, can you imagine that? That's an awful 4 seconds.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, and then they made it. Obviously, their bodies were
those
really
people
badly crushed.
You think the people who regret it, they're like, get real pencil.
And maybe it's they try to
get aerodynamic. Like maybe I can glide in like Greg Louganis and everything will be fine. No, you're gonna be like the time he hit his head on the board.
Yeah, the rocks do not. You can't dive into rocks. I think
no.
Part of
you think the listeners get a good Greg Louganis reference?
I liked it. I even if you don't know who he is, I think you know the name, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, he had to be the most famous diver.
But for people who don't fucking know, I mean, Rick is like one of my oldest friends in comedy. I mean, I'll hit, and I don't even know if we can count this last year, but I'll hit 9 years, December 21st this year, and I've known you basically the entire time.
Yeah, the first open mic I did in this city when I moved here, you were at. We sat at the same table.
Yeah, I remember you had a joke about some NASA joke about somebody who was on the moon.
Yeah, I had my moon landing joke. It was one of my first favorite jokes, and now that very same premise is on Norm Macdonald's Hitler's Dog special or whatever. Okay. Not that he stole it or anything. It's just two guys who are interested in the fact that the third guy in the moon landing is hard to remember.
For sure.
Not a lot of ways to go with that. So lost that. Lost it to Norm, though. I'll take it.
That's okay. That's the best. I mean, you could have lost it to Mencia. That would have been.
Yeah, then that'd be bad. Yeah, I've never felt like I've had a joke stolen. Someone one time pulled me into the OR and was like, "We put this guy up because he stole your joke, so you can see." And I'm like, "Come on, fuck him. But just put me up. I don't care if he steals my joke.
Let me go out. Let me do
he
the
stole my
joke.
joke and he got a spot tonight.
Ah,
Come on, you guys aren't helping me at all. Just put me up and I'll do my joke."
you know, the crazy thing about that sort of behavior, like the people that do that sort of shit, is like what I'm starting to learn is like this business, it rewards that sort of shit because people that don't give a fuck about or who don't care about stepping on someone to get somewhere.
Oh, you
they
sound
seem
like
to
me talking to
succeed.
my therapist now.
Oh, so you go to therapy?
Yeah, I did that. Okay, so I did do that this year.
Okay,
Yeah, I
all right,
started
cool.
therapy.
Yeah, are
That
you
was
still doing
that
it?
helps. And that was like, my medical plan's like, listen, we'll give you 8 sessions if you can't figure it out. And then I did really, it was going well, like the
Yeah,
specific things I wanted to work on. The therapist, not to brag, like I'm so good at therapy, but I was so like depleted by the time
I
I got
get
in
it.
there.
Yeah,
Where I was like, I don't, whatever you say to do, even if I think it's stupid, I'm just going to do it. And then it
yeah.
was working like CBT stuff mostly.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah, that shit's good. I just like it can't get I can't get into the ritual of it, you
yeah,
know.
you have to do I mean, it's like working out. It really is. It's like, I mean, unless you're like dealing with some real heavy stuff where you need medicine or like specialized things,
Yeah, for sure.
but a lot of it is like these, like I was nervous, like the therapist I had, she was younger than me. And I thought like, oh, you're going to be one of these guys who thinks just because you're older, then you know more than people.
Yeah.
I was like, pack that up. You didn't spend 4 or 6 years studying this shit. There's no way you've lived enough to know what the hell you're talking about against this person with a degree in the field. And then I was just like, just do whatever, even if it's stupid and you hate it. Like you already think everything is stupid and you hate it. So why not hate something different that's
For
stupid?
sure, yeah.
And then it was, it worked. But
So you
the
did
thing is,
8
yeah, to keep on
sessions?
top of it, doing the exercises.
Yeah. So you did 8 sessions
Yeah, I think it was something like that. So not even
and
that
after
much.
that you stopped.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would have had to appeal, and then my insurance changed. Just a
Okay.
perfect storm of living in America.
Oh my god, I know. That's
But I keep notes too. Like I try to make little connections on
mhm.
because I didn't have like, I couldn't write a book or go on Oprah about my childhood, but it was awful. And so, but I was always like, whatever. I got out of that. I got out. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care about any of that. None of that ever affected me. And then you're like almost through your 30s, and you're like, yeah, some of this shit's not working out right. Like
Yeah.
I'm incapable of like advocating for myself at work. I feel like sometimes, or like it's that weird thing where it's like, does nobody respect me? And then you're like, do I respect myself? Is
Yeah.
that like, is the way I treat myself just a cue to everyone else? Like, oh, that guy hates himself, so just hate him too.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to figure. So I'll just write shit down if I have like a epiphany where I'm like, oh, that did happen to me. And it kind of is what I'm repeating in life.
Damn.
Lately, I noticed I was like, I mean, I could never take a compliment.
Huh.
And then I can't ever say anything nice to my brother. Like he'll do all these things, like, he lost like 40 pounds. And I was like, hey, good job. That's what it took. Like more weight, 40 pounds. That's like a whole kid.
Yeah.
And everything else, I was like, just I realized I have like a tendency to criticize him. And it's nothing I have against him. I don't think he's dumb or needs advice that bad. But I was like, oh, I just view him as like an extension of me because we're siblings and we were close as when we were young.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe if you learn to talk nice to your brother, you could learn to talk nice to yourself.
Damn.
So maybe so now I'm like, try to be nice to your brother, compliment him when he's, done something good, and see if getting used to that feeling makes it easier to look someone in the eye and say thank you instead of telling them why they're wrong about compliment. That was a good song you wrote, or that comedy bit's funny. Go, oh, it's not that good. That's what I say. Yeah, you must be mistaken.
Man,
why doesn't anyone want me to be on everything? I don't know. Every time they tell you did good, you tell them they were wrong, and then you hunch up and walk away.
Jeez. Yeah, I was thinking a lot about that with this is a more like simplified way of looking at it, but like people that I don't know, I'm just thinking a lot about like you hate in others like what you see in yourself, And
oh yeah, for sure.
I gotta catch myself with that all the time. If I see somebody who's like, and I'm not really that guy either. Like for a long time, I was just like, oh, it's all great, but then like you said, the shit comes up and grabs you at some point, and you start to be like, man, fuck that guy or whatever, and you're like, oh, you're jealous because that guy has this thing and you don't, or whatever it is. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird. Like you just start like, yeah, what's behind this feeling? It
Yeah.
takes a lot to like, I mean, it's not that hard really, but it's not normal, I think, behavior to like have an impulse and then to like pop the lid on that. Most people just run through a series of impulses and reactions,
Mhm.
and then that's a day.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have a structured life.
Yeah.
So they just adapt to whatever their stimulus is. That's why, like, most times someone has like a bad day or like it was a catastrophe. It's just like one thing was out of place.
Yeah.
And that set off the whole, and they're like, well, I'd gotten my brain used to like a rhythm. And now,
It fucks the
this
rhythm
got
up.
thrown in it. And
Yeah.
and it could be the littlest thing.
It usually is for me. It's like
Yeah. But the thing that'll like break me will be, but then I'll be like, oh, you were letting a lot of shit pile up. It has nothing to do with like, it's not because they, the wrong soda came or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like everything else. I've never gotten mad over a soda, but
Bet you have, dude. I'm kidding. I don't know.
I bet I probably have. If I look through the Rolodex of bad memories.
This isn't Mexican Coke. What the fuck? I don't want this.
Coke's from Uruguay. I'm not drinking this.
Yeah.
I don't drink soda from Central America. I have nothing against the Mexican people, especially their soda. I do not trust Panamanian colas.
Oh man. Jesus. I found the ticket from, because we went to see Mark Maron at the Ice House like 9 years ago. It was Maron.
What a good
Pepitone, and
lineup.
Bamford, right? And
And
Yusuf.
Yusuf hosted. Nick
Yeah, and I
Yusuf
found the
hosting with
ticket
Maria
the other
Bamford,
day
Eddie Pepitone,
somewhere.
and Mark Maron. Gee, only in LA you get that lineup.
Yeah, that's too. Well, now in Austin, I'm just.
Oh yeah, I guess everyone's down there.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're gonna go down to the bunker.
Nope.
What's that thing that Rogan's in now? Looks like he's like inside of a fleshlight.
I
Like
don't know.
the sponsor was like, "We got you. We built you a studio out of one of our sex toys. It's this huge red tube."
I'll just say it's an office in a place that it's a room in another place that people know. I don't know anyway, whatever. Someone told me where it was, and I don't know if I'm
Oh, it's like I'm just like amazed at that. Like the design of it looks like he's in some kind of bunker.
Yeah, I think they tried to make like a small room look livable, or like it's an actual space, but it's just it's a smaller office in a bigger building.
It's a room in a room.
Yeah, but I'm not going. I'm here. I think that I don't know, I'm hopeful, and I feel like it's I don't really have it like that to be able to just pack up and go at the moment. So what I'm hoping is that when shit comes back, that the people that have stayed will be on the ground level for a sort of a new beginning. But
oh yeah, like new growth. Like this might be the chance to actually,
like this is our dark ages, like
like get in on it. I used to say that, like I kind of wish the comedy bubble would like,
me too.
I didn't mean burst like to ruin people, but like I wish it would just kind of like clear out a little bit.
Yeah,
there's a lot of cobwebs in the rafters, if we're being honest. Like I don't want to
overly
sit here and
confident.
Be like, everyone
cobwebs.
sucks, but yeah, it's it became trendy.
Yeah,
so fine, things go in phases, and but yeah, I always thought like, oh, if this became less appealing to like kids that don't really need money or any, the people like leisure class children who can pursue this shit. If they lost interest in it and got into being DJs, maybe it would be a little more.
They will. It's just not happening fast enough.
Yeah, I know. If it could happen before I'm all the way gray.
Yeah.
Which I think we're done there.
That's going to be fun. I think when you go gray, you just go full Rick Rubin,
I'll get like the whole big beard.
I got this cool, I remember an interview with Rick Rubin. They were asking him like what his dream project would be or somebody that he's never worked with. And he said McCartney. And then the other day I got an ad for, he's doing a thing with McCartney.
Team up or something. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. That was his dream one. Steve Albini's was Neil Young. That's who I'd pick.
Oh, wow. Damn, that makes sense. That'd be cool.
Young, especially of who's left. Rick Rubin got to do that Tom Petty record in '94.
Yeah.
Wildflowers. God, that's so good.
He's also
that just got reissued.
He's also you know, the Ramones record, I think it was End of the Century they did with Phil Spector. He's remixing it because I guess Johnny, before Johnny died, he was always just sort of like, well, it doesn't sound like a Ramones record. Like they liked it, but it doesn't sound like a Ramones record. So
Well, yeah,
Rick
Phil
Rubin
Spector
is,
record always becomes a Phil Spector record.
yeah, I mean, he had
it
guns and
seems.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime the producer's pointing a gun,
Yeah.
pointing a gun at Leonard Cohen.
He made Johnny play like one opening note to like something like 200 times, and then like at the end of the day they were leaving. They're like, and he just had his gun in his hand. He's like, "Hey, what's up? Where are you guys going? Like, you don't want to
Oh
watch this
my
movie over here?"
God.
And like,
Who just gesticulates with a weapon?
yeah, just the glimmer of the light hits the little bit of the chrome, and you're just like, I guess we're staying here with this
Do you
guy.
think that would help? What if we just got guns? Do you think we could benefit from
I don't think I
the
should
feeling
ever
of power?
own a gun.
Would you have panic attacks if you had a gun?
Probably because I
I
couldn't.
feel like you'd panic about the gun constantly.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
enjoy carrying. That's a lot of responsibility.
I mean, yeah, and I've just had moments like, I've had moments where I'm like super sad or something, and I'm like, if I had that around, who knows? Not that I would. I gotta
That's
be
the
real
main
careful.
reason I don't.
Yeah,
It's not like, oh, this isn't like, oh, but there's
Yes.
been a couple very dark nights where it's like,
Yeah.
But it's more like if I had it and it was loaded and it was in my hand,
Yeah.
maybe. But
Yeah,
I think
well-
like at some point when you're on, like, I'd have to get a gun safe that has 6 numbers for the combination instead of 3. Cause I
Yeah.
feel like somewhere between numbers 4 and 5, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? You're
That's
going to take
true.
a gun out of the safe, clean it, load it and kill yourself?
I would need a Rubik's cube to be connected, where you have to,
Yeah, there you
solve
go.
all 6 sides before.
An emotional Rubik's Cube.
Or like dice. Yeah, you have to roll like snake eyes.
Roll dice to kill. Oh, God.
I mean, that's a different type of.
Dude, I'd have
roulette.
to put the gun away dirty so that when I take it out, I'm like, you didn't clean this thing? And I'm like, well, I can't. I'm not killing myself with a dirty gun. Then you just spend all day cleaning and you go, I feel pretty accomplished.
I don't know. I think dirty
shine my
gun's the
boots.
way to go if you're gonna,
Dirty gun.
because
It's a good band name. Dirty
you know what?
Gun.
I'm looking for a band name right now. I'm recording.
I'm in
on
need
the-
of one too, but Dirty Gun doesn't work for me. So
Well, you can have it. You came up with it. So
you could take Dirty Gun. I don't.
I'll
Dirty
probably
Gun
never
doesn't work
use
for
it.
what we're doing. We're too soft for Dirty Gun.
But what are you doing? You doing like the Earth satellite stuff? Or you started
Well,
some new?
I got a new The Earth Satellites album in the
Cool.
can,
Hell yeah!
which is exciting. And then I
Damn,
had
how
all
many
this
songs
like,
is that?
this record has 10, but we might throw an 11th on there to balance out. There's the threat of possibly doing vinyl, in which case it
Cool.
would be beneficial to balance the side length. And
Yeah.
right now one side has a 3-minute room space.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking of doing vinyl soon too. But
But
Yeah,
and then
go
I
ahead,
have I
sorry.
have all these like auxiliary songs from over the last year and a half or 2 years, some of you are older. And I was digging through that, like archive stuff. Because I got all this crap set up and all the time. And then whenever I have a feeling. So that is kind of a thing I do regularly, which is like a meditation. It's
Yeah.
not as valuable, I think, as meditation is so that when you have to sit quietly, you can sit quietly. And I instead distract my
that's me
mind
too.
with like recording music. It requires a lot of focus.
Hmm.
And so I'm like, well, as long as I'm doing this, I'm too preoccupied to like manufacture dread.
That's one of the only times I can focus is when I'm recording like guitars or building a beat or something. Or it's really weird because I'll fucking look at the time and I'll be like 4 hours went, but I can't do it with a lot of other things.
Yeah, the only other thing that does that for me or has, and it doesn't work very much anymore, is like a video game. But I don't really like video games.
Yeah, me
But
either. I'm not great at
I
it.
realize like they require enough, like Tetris or like I like that kind of crap, like puzzles.
Mhm.
So, but it gets boring pretty quick. Like it's not that stimulating to sit and flip squares around all day.
Yeah,
But
it's
it
fun
is
to
distracting
re-record
enough
a
where I'm
different
like-
riff. That's fun.
Yeah.
Like press record, do it again, try to get a nice one.
I think of it as like like your brain's a computer essentially, right? And you got, I don't know what the facts are, but to me, it feels like there's a kind of a limited amount of processing power on any given day.
Mhm.
And if I'm having like, a lot of intrusive feelings and things, or even coming from within, whatever shit I want to kind of like put on the back burner,
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'll just mess with the music or something, because then I'm going to dedicate like all of the processing power is on the music, especially
Yeah.
if, you get a little drunk or something. Like
Oh yeah,
you drink or smoke to like, let's take the CPU down to about 68%
yeah.
and then start making music.
My problem would be like I've like really bad insomnia for the last few years, and so I'll smoke weed and then I'll inevitably have a panic attack because I'm too high for the first 10 minutes. That's when I sit down and I just jump into recording a guitar or whatever it is, and kind of helps me get through that initial like, oh fuck, I shouldn't have done that. I smoked too
Oh,
much.
yeah,
Or
because
whatever.
you're distracted from.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a full on distraction, but you said auxiliary songs. Is that just means like you wrote a bunch of songs, the ones that sort of didn't fit the Earth
Yeah, they
satellite
just
thing,
weren't.
they fell away to the.
And I'll just like get in like trends of things where like I got really into 80s sounds last
Okay, I remember
summer.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like in love with like most 80s music, the songs are so cheesy that
Mhm.
the production gets written off. But I was like, I don't know. I think stereo chorus on a guitar can be cool, maybe. It's
Yeah,
debatable.
you were like we were talking about like that John Carpenter style or like the
Yeah,
Stranger Things
I
guys.
still
like,
would like to get more into like modern production. Like that's what all the like the Phoebe Bridgers stuff kind of is like. It's not 80s, but they're the kids are way more sample and synth savvy.
yeah, The Weeknd does a lot of that stuff, like some of the
Yeah,
keyboards.
I'm trying to learn more of that, like producing, like modern
Yeah.
producing. But
Yeah.
this is like, it sounds like, hmm, it sounds like if the outfield was angrier or something. Not angry, but like Dinosaur Jr. plus
Yeah.
Brian Adams.
I can't see Jay Mascis without thinking about you. That's funny. I've
All
been
right,
watching
yeah.
these like rig rundowns because I mean I
have
knew you
that
were like really
guitar.
into them, and you got the jazz. What is it?
Yeah, I have a
Jazz
Jazz
Master?
Master. I
Yeah.
love that. That was more of a who was cool. I guess Dinosaur was a big before. Like Jazz Masters got super popular because they started making affordable one.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I first did wanted one, they were so hard. They were expensive. And I was
Mm-hmm.
just like kind of. I mean, to me, like $800 was a fortune.
Fuck that.
And I had a Jag Stang for a little bit, and then got a Jazz Master.
What's the
But
most
yeah, it
you've
was
ever?
like Elvis Costello was a guy, was a Jazz Master guy. Sonic Youth, of course, which I would never really got fully on the boat with them.
Me either. It's too noisy.
Yeah, I respect them, and I'm like, yes, all that's good. I'm just like, I've never really sat them like, you know what I want to hear right now.
Yeah. Didn't
And I've listened to it. It was like homework listening. I was like, I should know what the hell was going on here.
yeah.
I like
yeah.
1,000 Leaves. That's the record of theirs. I enjoy.
What was the one? I think it was the guy from Sonic Youth, but you years ago you had this record.
Oh,
It was
Between
like,
the Time and the Tides, the Lee Ronaldo solo album.
yeah, is that
And
what
Nels
it's called?
Klein plays lead on like one or two tracks.
Okay, then yeah, then I because I remember
I
that.
like
I
that.
like that.
I think we listened to that on the way over to the Ice House show.
Possibly, yeah, and then
Or
a few
it's some
other
comedy
other
thing.
times, yeah.
Yeah. I used to listen to that CD a lot. That's when I was listening to a lot of Nels Klein. That's like my number one favorite guitar. One of my top guitar players for sure.
Yeah, I
From
just got
Wilco, most known from
I have
Wilco.
2 Telecasters now, use
Nice.
Squire
That's-
Telecasters, but I put some love into them. I like them.
Yeah.
I don't play
Most,
guitar a lot, so that's all I need.
Most stuff's recorded on a Telecaster. The Dinosaur Jr. records are done on Telecasters.
Yeah, I just like them. I mean,
Noise.
I first got into
Known
them
for
because
jazz
Joe
master.
Strummer played them, and then I was like, okay, cool. Like, then I don't know. They just seem pretty versatile. They're pretty simple because I don't get all the tone knobby stuff.
Yeah, they're great utilitarian and like versatile guitars too.
Yeah, I have a black
Workhorses.
one and then like a butterscotch one. Then the black
With the
one's-
blue pick guard,
Yeah, yes.
spray
So
painted,
I
right?
just got that back. So I
From
painted
Fernando
it black.
had it.
So here's what happened. I don't remember.
I have all
so,
my memory is like I can't.
Yes.
I'm like, you didn't cash your check or pay your bills, but you know who has Joel's Telecaster and why the pick guard's blue.
Yeah, so somehow I think
Stuff we talked about once.
I think you got it to Fernando maybe, and then Fernando got it to Albert Huber.
Well, I never had it. I just remember you were talking about
Something happened with it.
because I was talking about buying it off you at one point.
Okay. I don't remember what happened, but anyway, it ended up in Albert Huber's trunk, old friend of mine. And, he moved away and like his dad passed away and all this and through the shuffle. And I was like, damn. And me not taking care of my own shit. Years go by. Like I checked the serial number on this guitar. It's like 2010. So, but anyway, I probably bought it in 2011, 2012. And then,
Yeah.
but he had it. It was lost for like 3-4 years. Finally, I was like, hey, Albert, I think I left this guitar in your trunk. Like, what happened? And he was like, oh, I don't know. And I guess through the shuffle anyway, it all got lost and it ended up at his mom's house in Marin. And I was like, oh fuck, like
This guitar's well traveled.
it's gonna cost a lot of money to get that guitar from Marin to here because it's expensive to ship a guitar. Although you probably know how to do it.
It's like $35.
Anyway, all right.
But that's expensive for shipping a Squire.
Yeah, so
I mean, that's like a third of the ticket price.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So my friend,
I have a Squire. I like a Squire with a little love put into it.
Oh, for sure. My friend Jahan posted on Instagram. I'm driving up to the Bay, and I was like, "Hey, this is weird, but I got a guitar in Marin. Are you gonna be anywhere near there?" She said yes. She picked it up for me. Gave her $20 for gas, and now I have my guitar back.
Fuck yeah, man!
What a long way to walk.
My Rickenbacker bass has kind of had that story. It was left in Virginia when I joined the Air Force.
Uh-huh.
Then my mom split up from this kind of abusive maniac.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of very anyway, yeah. She did one of those like flee in the night things. So a lot of my stuff was in jeopardy. The only thing I really cared about was I had this like 75 Rickenbacker bass that I got for $500 when I was a teenager.
Quick question: how old were you and your brother when she did that?
I was 19. I was in the Air Force. Okay. I was out in Utah. I was just trying. I couldn't get a hold of her for a week or maybe 3 days. You know. Mm-hmm. And then finally, she's like, "Oh, we had to leave," and
Dude, these
just
more
guys. Of the same. Like, oh, yeah, that's still bad, huh? That thing I've been saying you should stop doing.
Yeah, when you're in it.
Yeah, well, yeah. And then finally, I was like, if you don't stay away from this guy, then I'm done being your son. I'd like threaten just to make sure she get. I mean, her, my mom, and my brother out of that situation. Mm-hmm. But I had this bass and some other stuff I had was sitting, and a good friend of mine, Tom, went and I was like, "Can you go pick that stuff up and just hold on to it?" And then he joined the Air Force, so then it was just with his girlfriend.
Oh man!
And I was just like, "Well, I just gotta, they're good people and all, but it's like, it was in a basement in Ohio with some girl I'd never met.
Yeah.
And then the basement flooded, and then like as soon as the basement flooded, first thing she did was like go down and get it out of the cellar. Mm-hmm. And stuff. And then I was in their wedding and I picked it up in their wedding.
Damn, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I remember I took it to the airport. It was in the back of a pickup truck. I was like looking out the back window at it the whole way, like, please don't fly out of the bed. And then finally got it home and I was like,
And you have it now.
I still have it. It's the only thing I have. It's the only thing I've ever bought like myself that I still, I don't have a lot of like real sentimental attachment to things, but that's one where I'm like, this will be the last thing I get rid of.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's one of the few luxury things I own. I mean, it's like they're $2,000 new.
Jesus Christ.
I got some guy in the Trading Post, which was like it was eBay before the internet, basically, when I was like 15, which I think the internet existed. We just didn't have it.
We had the penny saver out here.
Similar. Yeah, this was in like 97, 98. I was either 14 or 15, and
damn.
This guy was just selling it cheap as shit. It was all beat up, the paint scuffed and missing binding. But he wanted $550, and I could only scrounge to get her $500 from like dishwasher and lawn mowing money.
Yeah,
and he gave me $50 off because I could play some Rush songs.
Holy shit! Is that the reason you wanted that bass? Was that?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because Geddy Lee had one. It was the same one Geddy Lee had, and I was just like, I gotta get this bass because that's all. I didn't, At that point, I just wanted to be my heroes. I was like, I just want to be Geddy Lee.
Yeah.
And so then I went and got it.
Damn.
But now
how's it doing? And what's the condition like? Is it playable? And
oh yeah, I mean, it's. I've been playing this P bass, or I built a P bass, but I put a jazz bass neck on it and added some pickups and stuff.
Yeah, I love P basses, man.
Yeah, I've been playing that more because it's got a little more traditional sound. Those Rickenbackers are real, like aggressive.
Great combination.
There you go. You're just playing like in a regular old classic rock band or any band. Those are just like great.
Yeah,
that's it. It's all you need. You can do everything with those.
I played recently with this with another musician, and God bless his soul, but every bass he had like an extra string. Everything was tuned super weird, and I was like, I just wanted a jam with a straight ahead.
Yeah,
I couldn't get in the groove. Everything was dropped down, and
there's always those weird guys. So it's like music got new, I played with some kids that I know from like work and stuff. The office, we're in a rehearsal space, and they're all into hardcore and shit.
Yeah.
And I used to love playing like metal and stuff,
Yeah.
but I'm such a just dad rock dork now.
Mhm.
And they're just like, yeah, let's play something that rips. And I'm like, I don't really rip anymore,
I don't
man.
rip anymore,
You
yeah.
want me to kick flip?
Yeah. Is that the bass right there?
This is my guitar. I was just
Oh, okay.
looking
Oh,
at
that's cool. Hell yeah. I mean, it's funny you. Oh wow, look at this guy. He's got
I
it.
can plug it into the board.
Holy shit. Nice. You know what? I think I can too, but I'm not gonna fucking jeopardize
David will
this
have a fit.
recording. Yeah,
Then
David
what'll
will
he
freak out.
I can't do anything with this.
But yeah, you brought up a good point. This is me, like this is self-indulgent, but you said you remember a lot of shit. I was wondering if you remember any funny stories from our, us going to open mics or going on the road. I think I've told the corporate gig tale before.
That was
Do you remember
fun.
that?
The funniest part of that whole night to me, the gig was just horror. It was just textbook bad corporate gig.
Yeah.
They didn't like us. They liked Slayton more because he at that
You
point knew
brought
how
the
to
games
do
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and he knew how to do comedy for nitwits better. Like
Yeah.
we'd been just doing hip open mics, so we were like those annoying back of the room guys.
Yeah.
But the funniest part of that night was when we all got like I said I could beat up Rich, even though he knows how to do all that. He knows how to
Yeah.
fight, and I've just been in fights.
Yeah.
You know,
I found photos of this, by the way, the other day on a hard drive.
Oh,
We're all in
wow.
our
The GoPro I
underwear,
had that
dude.
night got stolen. Yeah, we're like fighting in our underwear and shit.
Yeah.
And then
I threw up. You were
it was
filming
2 in
me
the
puke.
morning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you threw up. God, we got hammered at Spikes. And all that weed we stole.
Oh yeah,
That weird college house.
allegedly.
Well, they gave it to us. They
oh,
gave
yeah,
us
yeah.
a lot of weed. They had a garbage bag full of it.
But tell what you're about to tell, because this is great.
Oh, so we're like, so I can't beat up Rich Slayton, even though like I was like, I'm not as fat as you. That was, and also I was fat at the time. I was just like, but I'm not as fat as you. That was
Also,
all I had to
before
go on.
we go further with this, I was sleeping on an air mattress on the floor because the room was actually only supposed to be for like one person or two people, and I was sort of, I don't know what hotel rules.
Yeah, there's
are,
like two
but,
tiny beds.
So I wasn't
and then
even
you were on
supposed to be there.
the floor between the bathroom and the second bed from the door.
Yeah.
But then someone was banging on the door because we were making a real ruckus at 2 a.m.
Mhm.
And this lady, but here's what happened is it's clearly like men are fighting.
Yeah.
Not like angry though. So
No,
it's like
wrestling,
that weird
just
quiet
horseplay.
fighting. Like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna kick your ass.
Yeah.
And then, I'm like, all right, I'm out. Cause you had me in that, it doesn't take long for one of those MMA guys to just like somehow get on your back and now you can't breathe good.
Yeah, you're choking. Yeah.
Yeah. And then so when I heard the door knock, he let me go, and I jumped. You leapt behind the bed and hid. And I also
No, I
hid
think
'cause-
I was even in plain sight. I just laid on the air mattress.
Well, we thought we were high. We were kind of like
Yeah.
obscured by this bed. We thought we were drunkenly hiding like a couple of like Shaggy and Scooby, really.
Mhm.
And then Rich just answers the door in his underwear. So this woman, I guess, initially just sees a lone, sweaty man in his underwear, all red in the face and shit from choking his friends. And I just heard her go, "It's 2 a.m." He goes, "Yeah," and then shut the door.
See,
Imagine her just seeing like, there must have been other people in there. They were making such a ruckus.
In my head, I remembered. So the door, goes straight in. There's the two beds, and then the air mattress was like at the foot of the two beds. And I remember she knocked, and immediately me and you both got in. I think either I got in on the air mattress and you got on your bed, and we just pretended like we were sleeping.
Oh, that maybe we're
That's
pretty
what
drunk.
and it
We
was
just pretended to be asleep.
the
He
logic.
really choked him out. He put him to bed.
Well, I just thought like it's like little kid logic. Like we're not invisible just because our eyes are closed now. Like we're just like,
As long as
Yeah.
my feet aren't sticking out of the blanket, the monster can't get me.
oh man, yeah, that was fun. I remember. I think we basically got paid in like free beer at Spikes. I like that place. I'd love to go back at some point. That was
Yeah, Spikes was just, we got some okay money from the corporate.
mhm.
And then here's a tip for anyone when the road comes back in full swing and stuff. If you have a corporate gig, they're usually early and they almost always suck.
Mhm.
So book a good bar show for after it.
yeah.
And then, like a palate cleanser.
Yeah, and make sure you take whatever you can at the corporate. If they offer you catering, get that.
Yeah.
That was when I learned.
Anywhere you go where people are giving away stuff, just take it. Even just
Yeah.
always take everything. Even if you're
Yeah.
not thirsty, ask for water.
Yeah, exactly.
Just get them used to giving you things.
I remember Rich depositing the check before the show, and I'll always remember that he like immediately as he got it did the online like
Oh, yeah.
deposit just in case they try to pull any shit, you know.
Yeah, or just in case we pulled some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember bombing so bad that after I think it was you or it might have been Rich. You just looked at the bartender and you're like, get this guy like a Crown and Coke or something like that.
That sounds like something Rich would do. I don't mean it sounds like something we might both do.
Yeah,
the car ride was more fun than all the shows, which is always the case.
Yeah, for sure. I don't remember. I think I mean, of course, podcasting was around, but I'm honestly kind of glad that recorders weren't around back then because some of the talks that we had were, you never know what you're joking about and shit. Yeah. But yeah.
No, we did play the Fat Joe tape though. But here's Fat Joe saying that stuff. We weren't saying it; we just listened.
I know. Yeah, that's
the thing that you're talking about. Like Joel is so guilty. He's like, we listened to someone say bad words.
No, I'm not.
Like, well, yeah, we did.
Whatever.
It's still funny. It's
it's very funny. Yeah.
It's I wouldn't talk that way, but it's funny shit to hear Fat Joe talk about.
Yeah.
Gay guys in the rap industry.
Yeah, that was fun.
With such nonchalance.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can't repeat any of it here, but
no, he's still also kind of like that's another weird thing with like I'm kind of sick of it now is like this like homophobia where people are like, look, I don't really care. Whatever you do on your thing, like, I might not like it, but it's, whatever. It's like, it's this weird sort of like passive, they're acting like they're woke, but really they're still homophobic. They're just like,
they're still
turned a blind eye to it. Yeah. They're like, yeah, I don't want to see it on my street, but whatever you do behind.
No one wants to see, who really wants to see anybody on their street fucking?
Yeah, or kissing. Sometimes
I mean, I can't. I'm going through all the couples I know. There are very few I want to see have sex.
Yeah,
most people aren't. There's a reason that everyone who fucks on camera is a porn star. It's like, wow, can't believe you're doing that.
But it's also like, it's not that they don't want to see it because it's that. It's they have this weird sort of like, I don't know if it's religious.
No, they don't want to see gay. They're like, I don't, just want, as long as you're not. It's like, so straight people can fuck on you? Like,
yeah.
If I woke up to hetero sex on my lawn, I'd be like, no. I mean, it's happened. There's a couple
I was gonna
street
say,
kids
I know
were
where you
fucking
live.
outside my window one morning.
Yeah.
And look, they weren't down. Like they were straight. They were white. The guy had on an
Thank
ironic
God.
outfit. He it wasn't a mental illness thing. I'd seen them around. They had their wits about them. They had style and fashion. I'm sure something may have happened, but it's like, basically my thing was like, it's like, look, it's 10:30. You can't be having loud sex directly outside the window where my wife doesn't even want to have quiet sex with me and have me not say, get a move on, make some moves. I'm sorry life has ended up this way for you, but it's 10:30
a.m. or PM?
You're just now getting around to fucking your dirty dreadlock fucking beach crust girlfriend.
Yeah.
This is why you're living in the alley. And
was it AM or PM?
I mean, letting you. I've been not calling the cops or anything. It was AM.
Oh, okay, nice.
Morning sex is for the single digit hours. Then you got stuff to do.
Yeah.
Unless you're inside and it's Sunday.
Did you ever record that joke about the street kids that you had? Was that on your album?
No.
Okay, that was a good
No,
joke.
it's apologize to your father.
Yeah, they left your room the way it was. Something like
what
that.
Is it? And go, this kid's not, that's what I would say. I go, I'm not making fun of homeless kids here. This kid has a home. It's in Nebraska. He just has to apologize for all that shit he said to his dad before he left it. They left your room for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your mom
exactly
goes in
the way
and dusts the trophies once a week.
That's right. It's a good one. I like, there was a period in my life, and we'll wrap this up. We usually go about an hour just so, I know you have work to do.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm still within my allotted time to, I don't know, work from home.
There was a period where like I couldn't even like tell you my joke premises because you would end up coming up with like a way better thing that I could have ever thought of, and then I was
just trying to be helpful,
and I wouldn't even do it because I didn't think of it. Not A
Yeah,
couple
yeah,
times
yeah.
I was like, well, he wouldn't have thought of it if he didn't like know my
Yeah, that's I
style.
always looked at it as like co-writing a song or
For
anything
sure.
else. I'm just like, yeah, you should say. I'm not gonna say that. That doesn't make sense coming out of my mouth.
But yeah, but there were just times where I was like, all right, no more talking about premises in the car with Rick, because you could probably write an entire hour of
I
stuff.
think I'd have to hang out with you for like a solid week again.
Yeah, yeah.
Some people it's easier. I don't know how good it'd be, but like I understood your point of view very well.
Hmm.
Bill Burr's point of view, like you could give me a subject. Like I'm not as good a comic, but like I could do like the rubric of how Bill Burr's gonna, or
For
Eddie
sure.
Pepitone. That's
Yeah.
like when people find their voice, that's when they pop. I think it's like they do the thing that they're like their reaction is like, yep, that's exactly how he would react to this.
Yeah.
And then people get used to it. Marin, all that's, and then other people who aren't just straight white guys, but those are the
Yeah.
ones I can
I'm
really
not.
figure out.
I'm
Yeah,
neither straight nor white.
but you're not famous.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'm like a Z-list
Even
celebrity.
worse.
What was I gonna fucking say? What's cool about that though, like when your friends do that, is like you guys knew my voice before I even figured it out, which is nice because it's like that Eddie Pepitone joke where he's saying like I hear I'm hilarious. Like he's like, you guys are so lucky to see this. This is just my life, so like I don't get it,
Yeah,
you
he
guys were
doesn't know
able
why
to
it's funny.
synthesize the voice before I even like knew what the fuck it was. I remember Kevin Lee going through my tweets one time and just going like, oh, you talk about food, religion, anxiety. Like he put it into like 4 words, and I was like, oh shit.
Like you turn everything into like a deep worry. One of my favorite of your jokes was that I don't like when my girlfriend smiles.
Oh, that's
just
funny,
like
yeah.
you would normally say something horribly toxic where you're like, oh, this guy is a monster, but you're always so like you still, even as you've gotten older, but especially when you used to have like a part in your hair and like you wore like button-up shirt, like you looked like you were going to school picture day a lot of the time.
Hilarious.
You just looked like a nice kid from a neighborhood.
Now God took it away.
Now you look like you own the skate shop, and you like oh yeah, Joel used to tear it up for his hip.
Just to confirm, this joke wasn't about me hating my girlfriend's smile.
No, it was so funny. It was like, because then I just like, I'm like, someone's made. I can't.
Who made you
smile?
wait,
right? Yeah. Who made you smile? What was he?
Yeah.
Eastern European. And I like picking on Eastern Europeans. So.
There is a deep-seated story to that we'll talk about at some point.
Oh my god!
I mean,
that's funny.
Everything in that joke was technically factual.
But, yeah, your girl had a crush on an Eastern European coworker.
Oh, it went deeper than that, baby. It's over. Anyway.
Wow.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know that, right? Yeah. We went to dinner when.
No, I didn't know. That's why.
Oh, not because of that. I don't get into that on this, but
okay.
I'll say this: it wasn't an Eastern European person. Well, actually, yeah, it was. It was a different one. There were multiples. Let's just say there were things going on that I knew about but didn't really know about, and then when I knew about it, that was towards the end.
Oh man, your girl was a little bit fooling around.
A little bit.
A lot of it, huh?
I mean, whatever. That was years ago. I've been. You
didn't go completely crazy? I think I'd.
Oh, dude.
I don't think I'd come back. I don't know how well I'd do.
I went through it, dude. I went through it real hard for about two years, and then bounced back. And then now I'm like, honestly, what all it was just 2 people that weren't compatible and were together since a very young age, and something needed to happen to break that.
Yeah, actually,
magnet.
like if my ex-wife had cheated on me, I'd have been hurt and upset, and I probably would have taken the time to like air, oh, now I have the upper hand morally. But I don't. Yeah, at that point, we kind of drifted so far apart. You're just like,
Yeah, the weird thing.
I was going to suggest we fuck other people just for fun, but this is even better. We can just have a clean break. We don't have to do that, maintain a relationship, and try to be single thing that everyone else is doing.
Yeah, those psychopaths. No.
Yeah, polyamory is the coward single.
Yeah, that's
what
funny.
You want a safety girl?
It almost seems also mostly like a male phenomena. Like the guys are always the ones who ask for it.
It seems. I mean, I'm really I'm speaking outside of my realm of knowledge, I guess. But my limited experiences, it's like guys who were in a long-term thing too early and then got out and kind of were like, now it's time to sow my wild oats. But they're also used to oh, but I want to, they're not probably not good at all. It's also hard to just go around and fuck anyone willy nilly because you think like, well, it's no feelings in it. It's like someone's gonna get feelings and someone's gonna get hurt. And if you're the kind of person that feels bad when you break someone's heart or something, it's gonna be hard on you too.
Yeah.
And then you'll be one of these people who's like mad, like, you're just now people are like, oh, what a fuck, that asshole got feelings. Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
sorry that person liked you for more than just 20 minutes one night.
A human fleshlight.
Yeah.
You look like you only eat a brand called Wild Oats. You said so. Anyway, it was too long. The moment had passed. No, I attribute it to just like I was thinking about that, like this like moral high ground thing, but really all it is like you're not compatible, so shit happens. It's like people do. There is no, I don't know. It's just weird. Just shit. People fucking grow up and change and stuff, and it's I don't have any sort of like.
Yeah, I have a lot of different views on when my dad cheated on my mom. I just thought it's the worst thing anyone could ever do.
Mm-hmm. It sucks. It's not cool to do.
Yeah, and I've not. So far, it's not been my move, but I'm less like judgmental of it now. I'm like, look, you don't know exactly what happened. Like some people, like when you hear about like an affair where it's like, oh, damn, you were bleeding this person dry and doing like where it was. There are times where it's just dubious, and it's like,
yeah, I don't know how you're just like
trying to get the maximum amount out of everyone. Like you're trying to extract everything you can from everyone you come in contact with no concern for what that's doing to them. That's a scary person to stay involved with or be around.
Yeah. It's like a psychopath or like a sociopath. Not that whatever, but yeah.
No, I mean, there are those cases where it's just someone's just like, oh, I just wanted to have it all.
Yeah.
But then there's times where it's like, yeah, I didn't know how to approach a healthy ending in the situation I was in. And then I hadn't felt this way,
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, I understand. I can understand how that'll happen. You just end up in someone's bed and you're like, I didn't do it to hurt my partner, and I didn't do it to just like feel like I'm entitled to get the stability and love I have at home plus this. I just hadn't figured out how to break the one thing off before I started going wild over here.
See what I mean? It's like I just gave you this thing, and then I think what you just said was a fully framed sort of like the way that I have come to understand it now, like what everything that happened, like that's exactly sort of how
it's not personal. That's usually, I mean, I'm going through that shit with things in my life now where I'm like, how the fuck could someone do what did I do to deserve that? What's wrong with me? Why don't they love me? Why didn't they? Or, and then it's like, dude, it's not.
Now that I look
that back, person's just fighting themselves right now, or was. I mean, certainly, I'm sure everything has something to do with the other party too, but it's like, if I'd had $1 billion, it would have been less complicated things. It's like, no, I think I very clearly do.
And now that
that's your car and house. Yeah, I think I'm not conflicted about this going forward at all. But a studio apartment in Hollywood and a comedian, that's a lot of conflict heading into. But I mean, ultimately, it's someone wasn't in a place personally to deal with that shit.
Yeah. Now that I'm looking back at all of it, it's like I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Anyway, yeah. Oh, now I know. Like, now that I look back at everything, I'm like, oh, it was one of the greatest things that ever happened to like have that be done because I sort of like kind of blossomed in a way afterwards, and
nothing beats a clean break.
Yeah, it took time.
If you can walk away, even if you feel bad, if you feel sorry for yourself, it's fine. But it's like if you can walk away without a big bag of guilt over your shoulder, especially you. Mm-hmm. You don't have a strong back for guilt.
No,
you'll be in the hospital having a panic attack again. Yeah, I don't either. I'm not good with it.
But then so like I took some time for myself and all of that, and then now then once I had figured out my own direction, was able to like whatever. Now I'm, as far as life goes, I'm probably like the happiest I've been, other than this old thing up here, which will always come back for me. But
yeah, well, that's just that's part of the set.
Yeah, it sucks.
That's your surprise ingredient on Chopped.
Yeah, Yeah, that's hilarious. There you go. Look at this guy writing bits. Catch me doing that joke on stage. I'm about to write. My brain is like
Yeah.
chopped, and they go, the surprise ingredient is
Yeah,
this.
welcome to
memory."
Emotional Chopped.
Yeah, it's,
Here you go. You got some cashews, some beef, some mint leaves, and then a bad childhood memory. What can you make?
Oh my god, that's fucking great. Coming to a theater at some point once this COVID thing is over. I'm trying to figure out a way to transition this into something funny to talk about before we get out of here. But you know, sometimes life is fucking weird.
What's funny in 2020?
What's weird is like this is the first time I've really even talked about that whole thing. I've kept my life sort of like private about all that, but just because we go way back, and then also I know you.
I always have a way of getting you to talk about stuff you wished you didn't.
I know, and
Every time I've done a podcast where
it's
it's my podcast around, I get a call for notes. Can you cut everything? Nope, hold on. I got some people in here. Yeah,
Yeah,
can you
yeah.
check the electric?
Yes.
Yeah.
I need to turn off the power for a little bit. Is that okay?
Sure.
Cool. Yeah, we're about to wrap.
Yeah, let me shut down his computer so it doesn't get messed up.
No better
Okay.
way to end this than the power
10
getting
minutes is
cut
great.
off. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I love it. I love that. This is great.
Sorry, David.
Wow. Does he have a?
Deary.
Oh, that's great. Anyway, but yeah. Well, that's the best way to wrap this up. Is your power is literally getting cut. So,
Yeah, they've been working on the electric for over a year.
I mean,
in
it was.
here.
I was looking forward to catching up, dude. It's been a while since.
Oh, I'll tell you a
talked.
funny story about
Yeah,
this
yeah,
whole ordeal. So this building is kind of it's very old. So the electricity and the plumbing needs constant up. I can't believe whatever. For you, I'll tell this story. Now I'm gonna be calling. Hey, have David cut out the end.
You can do whatever you want.
So they had to they come in one day, everything's fine. I'm like, all right. Well, I mean, everything's never fine in this unit, but it was livable. And then they're working in the unit next door and they go, we got a big leak. We got to take the toilet out. And I'm like, all right, fine. How long is it? It's only be 5 minutes. Half an hour later, I'm about to have a big leak. Like stomach problems. I had to take a shit in a trash can. Like I put like crap in a bag basically. And then
Yeah.
like,
How did you dispose?
this is the dumpster. All right. I think,
Okay, nice.
I think I
that's
gotta go.
great. Hell yeah. Well, good talking to you, Rick. If do you want
Good talking
anything?
to you.
Do you want to promote anything?
Yeah.
He's got an album on Spotify. We'll
Yeah,
put the link
check out-
in the description.
Check out the Earth Satellites on Bandcamp and on Spotify. That album's coming out in February, but there's
Yeah.
singles out now.
And he's got
just-
a Rick Wood stand-up record on Spotify too, right?
Yeah, is anyone? I gotta buy a house or something. I've become an adult. It
No, this
smells
is
like
great.
cologne and BO in here so bad
Oh my
right now.
God. Well, there it is. Well, I'll talk to you soon, dude. Have fun with this.
All right, man. Take it easy. It's
All
good to
right.
hear from you. Call
Oh,
me
yeah,
up sometime when you're going through it
Yeah, I will.
or not.
All right.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Later.
Peace, man. Later.
Bye.